The dawn broke over Silver Lake with a crack like thunder, but it wasn't a storm, just Evelyn Harper's cane smacking the dock as she faced down her adversary. At 83, Evelyn was a whirlwind in a cardigan, her silver hair glinting like the water she'd guarded for decades. She tossed corn to the ducks gliding across the pond, their quacks a defiant chorus against the figure marching toward her. Cynthia Reynolds, the iron-fisted president of the Silver Lake Homeowners Association, advanced with a tablet clutched like a battle standard, her heels clicking with purpose. This wasn't just a morning feed. This was the spark of a rebellion that would ripple through our quiet suburban eye. Lauren Mitchell, a 36-year-old architect licking wounds from a failed project, was about to be swept into the fray. I'm Lauren, Evelyn's granddaughter, and I've been crashing at her lakefront home for 7 months, claiming I was there to help out after my career imploded in Seattle. Truth was, Evelyn was the one propping me up. She was a legend here, a retired ecologist who could still dominate the local badminton court, a woman who'd fed the ducks at Silver Lake Pond every morning at 7 a.m. For 44 years, and a skeptic of anyone VYing a title like a scepter. Cynthia, with her tailored suits and crusade for neighborhood excellence, was the epitome of what Evelyn called big egos in small shoes. Silver Lake wasn't always a grid of pristine lawns. In 1977, my grandfather, Thomas Harper, a VY Scinary surveyor, bought 22 acres around a crystal pond fed by an underground spring. He built their airy home part studio, part greenhouse, and sold lots to friends who cherished the wild grasses and herons over cookie-cutter suburbia. When Thomas died 10 years ago, he left a clever will. The front of their land joined the HOA for harmony, but the pond and 4 acres around it stayed private, locked in a conservation trust with Evelyn as its steward. It was a haven, safe from asphalt and ambition, until Cynthia decided it was her personal fiefdom. Trouble brewed on a crisp November morning, frost sparkling on the dock. I was nursing coffee on the porch when Cynthia's voice cut through the mist like a siren. "Mrs. Harper, stop now," she barked while VYing her tablet. The ducks scattered and my pulse spiked. Evelyn, unfazed, kept tossing corn. "Morning, Cynthia," she said, her voice warm but edged with steel. "Just feeding my friends, same as always." Cynthia's eyes flashed. "You know the HOA banned feeding wildlife last month. Section 13.1 promotes pests, pollutes shared waters, lowers property values." Evelyn's smile could have melted ice. "This pond's not shared, dear. It's mine." Thomas saw to that. Cynthia bristled. "All waterways in Silver Lake fall under HOA control. You don't get to dodge the rules." I stepped forward, my architect's instinct for mediation kicking in. "Actually, Cynthia, the trust documents," she cut me off. "I don't need your input, MS. Mitchell, this is an HOA matter." Evelyn chuckled, a sound like leaves in a breeze. "Check the deeds, Cynthia. The ducks are waiting." With that, she turned back to her flock, dismissing Cynthia like a passing cloud. Cynthia stormed off, vowing a formal notice. I glanced at Evelyn, expecting concern, but her eyes danced with mischief. "Gran, is this trouble?" She patted my hand. "Lauren, Thomas always said a bully's worst enemy is their own hot air." Cynthia's about to choke on hers. The notice arrived next day, HOA letterhead. Due Law 175 fine for wildlife feeding and misuse of common areas. Evelyn read it over tea, laughing. "They've thrown in environmental disruption now," she said, folding it into a boat. "Imaginative." I frowned. "Maybe we pause the feeding, sort this legally?" Evelyn's gaze pinned me. "Lauren, I've served VY ved recessions, bell-bottoms, in her grandfather's tofu phase. I'm not cowering from a woman who thinks ducks are a crime." Evelyn kept feeding, and notices stacked up. Due Law 200, Due Law 275, Due Law 350, each more absurd. Cynthia upped the ante, planting signs, and no feeding fines imposed. She circulated flyers about disease risks and foul aggression, ignoring that Evelyn's ducks were practically domesticated. Neighbors whispered some backed Evelyn's tradition. Others bought Cynthia's pitch of order and rising home prices. Things darkened when Cynthia started stalking Evelyn's feedings, snapping photos like a paparazzo. One morning, I spotted her behind a cedar, muttering into her phone about proof of defiance. I confronted her. "This is harassment, Cynthia. The pond's private." She smirked. "Private or not, her actions impact us all. I'm protecting the community." Evelyn waved cheerily. "Get my good side, Cynthia." The ducks love a fan. The clash peaked on a frigid December morning, ice glazing the path. Evelyn and I were at the pond's edge, where Mallard Evelyn, named Winston, led his crew. I was scattering corn when Cynthia appeared, flanked by 2 board members and a guy with a camera on a tripod, filming like it was a sting operation. "Mrs. Harper," she shouted, "cease immediately, or we'll lien your property." Evelyn didn't turn, focused on Winston. "Nice day for a chat, isn't it, Cynthia?" Cynthia's tablet glowed with threats. "You do law 1,000 in fines. Pay now, or we seize assets." Then a happened moment etched in Silver Lake lore. Cynthia lunged for Evelyn's corn tin, her heels slipping on ice. Evelyn, nimble as a cat, stepped aside, but Cynthia grabbed her coat, pulling hard. For a heartbeat, they teetered, then Evelyn spun free, her coat flapping, and Cynthia plunged into the shallow pond with a splash that sent ducks flapping and the cameraman zooming in. "Oh my!" Evelyn gasped, genuine worry in her voice. "Cynthia, are you okay?" Cynthia surfaced, drenched, her suit ruined and hair a soggy mess. "You shoved me," she screeched, pointing. "This is assault. I'm calling the cops." The board members shifted uncomfortably, and the camera kept rolling. "I didn't touch you," Evelyn said calmly. "You slipped and grabbed me. I just stayed upright." "Liar!" Cynthia's voice cracked, scaring off the last ducks. "You've flouted us from day one, and now you're violent." One board member, Tim, mumbled it. "Looked accidental." Cynthia spun on him. "Call the police, Tim." I jumped in. "Hold on. This pond's private part of the Harper Trust. You're trespassing." Cynthia's face reddened. "Nonsense. This is Silver Lake Pond HOA land." Evelyn gestured to a stone marker, half hidden by grasses. "Read the plaque, dear." We walked over, revealing Harper Wildlife Sanctuary, Est. 1977 by Thomas and Evelyn Harper. Private trust for nature and community. Cynthia stared, her confidence faltering. "This means nothing," she muttered. "The HOA will investigate, and I'm reporting the assault." She squelched away, Leah VYing Evelyn to invite Tim and the other board member, Sarah, for coffee. "Let's clear this up," she said, and they followed, chastened. Police arrived soon after officers Lopez and Kim, all business. Cynthia, now dry but fuming, spun a tale of being attacked by a rogue senior. Evelyn countered, backed by Tim and Sarah, who confirmed the slip. Lopez checked the footage, which showed Cynthia lunging, slipping, and falling alone. "Ma'am," he told Cynthia, "this was an accident, not assault. And per the trust, Mrs. Harper's in the clear." Cynthia sputtered. "But she's breaking rules." Sarah spoke up. "The pond's exempt from HOA control, actually." Evelyn smiled. "No trespassing charges today, but those signs need to go." Cynthia left, muttering about lawyers, but the signs vanished by dawn. Support for Evelyn grew, but Cynthia wasn't finished. Days later, flyers blanketed the neighborhood VY Deo, stills labeled danger at Harper Pond, citing hazardous ice and wildlife threats, calling for an HOA meeting. Evelyn read one, grinning. "She's got spirit." Wrong, but spirited. The meeting packed the community hall, tension thick as fog. Cynthia led with a slideshow muddy shores, duck droppings, dire warnings. "Mrs. Harper's recklessness threatens us," she insisted. But Evelyn had been busy not with lawyers, but with neighbors. She'd hosted teas, shared pond memories, rekindled Silver Lake's roots. When discussion opened, residents spoke of kids chasing frogs, of quiet evenings by the water, of Evelyn's care, keeping developers at bay. Evelyn stood last, her voice clear. Thomas and I made this pond a gift o' wildlife to you. It's not a problem, it's a promise. I'll fund safer paths and signs if the HOA respects the trust. Cheers drowned Cynthia's protests, and the vote sealed it. The pond stayed Evelyn's, with open access. Change came fast. New paths, studded with native stones, circled the pond, paired with signs about duck diets and heron nests. Neighbors lingered, swapping stories. Cynthia eased her grip, though I saw her watching Evelyn's feedings, her face unreadable. Then, one February morning, she knocked on our door, holding a small box, looking uneasy. "Mrs. Harper," she said, "I overstepped. I see the pond's value now." Evelyn and VY ted her in, and over tea, Cynthia shared her story of widow, CRA VY instability after loss. "I thought rules would save us," she said. The box held a glass duck, a quiet truce. By spring, the pond buzzed with life kids learning to spot minnows, families cleaning shores. Cynthia joined Evelyn one dawn, tossing corn with a shy grin. "Winston's bold," she said, and Evelyn laughed. "He's the boss here." Silver Lake's first Wildlife Day came a year later. Crafts, talks, Evelyn leading duck feeding lessons at 84, still spry. Cynthia ran a history booth, her edges softened. Watching them gran with her corn, Cynthia, with her camera eye, saw Thomas's VY Shown, a place where nature and neighbors wove tight. Evelyn winked at me. "Never fight a duck's ally," she said. I smiled, knowing that Splash had rebuilt a community, one quack at a time. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.